going on, people? It's your boy, it's brasstax, baby. A lot of requests for this movie, this classic about four boys who are looking to find the location of a body, but in that time learn more about themselves and each other. Kind of like a coming of age story in its own way. Good movie, a classic, and let's just keep it real. Many babies have been made to the theme song of this movie. You know, as soon as the boom 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 ch boom, as soon as that hits, you know it's go time. I ain't even gonna lie to you, I myself have made love plenty of time to Stand By Me. You're not here for all that, you're here to see what the movie looks like. How does it hold up? How does a movie made in 1986 stack up today in 2019? It's a Sony release. Let's see how they do with the old ones. It's practically a full screen. There's a tiny black bar at the top and bottom, but it's taking up the full real estate of your home cinema, of your TV. Whatever size TV you have, it's filling up a good 90% of that bitch. Shot on 35mm with a 4K digital intermediate to boot. There are no visual effects in this bitch, so I don't know what to say to you. For a movie shot in 1986, I'm trying to think, let me see. What other movie was kind of shot at the same time? I guess my comparison to this would be that of The Karate Kid. That was a fairly decent transfer, but I did feel it was consumed by a lot of grain. But I mean, I'm happy to report that this release is far better than that. This is, for the most part, a very nice transfer. Yes, grain haters, it's got grain, but what can you do? Irrespective of the grain, it's not overpowering. You're not gonna look at it and say, oh shit, so many dots on the screen in this bitch. You're gonna enjoy it for what it is. And it is a great transfer. Really, really good. Sony are doing their things. We can't really knock Sony, let's be honest. With digital releases, like Men in Black and whatnot, it's doing its thing. You know, when it's Sony, you're expecting an upper tier transfer, and that's exactly what it is. This has got great detail. I'm looking at it right now whilst I'm shooting this bitch. You see textures on the boys' t-shirts. You see individual hair strands. You're seeing a lot of detail on the trees. Right now, they're having a conversation on a train track. See all the little stones on the floor. It's looking pretty amazing, I ain't gonna lie to you. Is it mind-blowing detail? No, but it's a huge uptick from the 1080p. What I will say though is some of the wide shots, it does look a little soft, but even in its softness, there's still far more detail to be seen here. Apart from the detail, where else this really shines is in the depth. I was surprised with how much depth there is in this bitch. 3-dimensional depth throughout this movie. Close-ups, foreground and background. There's a lot of conversational pieces that go on in this movie, and because of that, they're usually talking over some background, over some into the distance tree shots, forest shots, what have you. There are clearly layers in this release. Black levels look great, a couple of seconds of crush here and there, but nothing major. A lot of people saying, is it your TV? No, it's not, my TV's professionally calibrated, thank you very much. Mofo came over and took 3-4 hours of my time doing that shit. Didn't appreciate a damn thing. I'm sitting there in darkness whilst he's calibrating. Do you know how ridiculous I must have looked? Side point. Details a win, depths a win, black levels a win. You want to know what the HDR is like, don't you? So you just picked up your new car, an Audi R8 in this bitch. Beautiful leather cream interior. You call your girl up, you say, listen baby, got this new car, need to take it for a spin. What'd you think? She's game. You tell her before she comes up, baby. Wear your best shit. She comes out wearing some nice knee-high boots with the red bottoms, short skirt just above the knees, nice little V-neck top, fitted. She's in the car with you, you're going for a drive. You go for a drive into the countryside. It's still daytime, so you're appreciating the scenery in this bitch. Whilst all this is going on, she's watching you drive the car, she's looking at you thinking, that's my man, I'm getting turned on. Guess what? She straddles you on the driver's seat. Now bear in mind, it is a fairly compact interior, but you guys are having an amazing time. The car bouncing up and down, windows getting steamed up in this bitch. She's got the red lingerie underneath to match the red bottoms. Guess what? You guys having the time of your life. It could have been a better experience, but because it's a bit cramped in there, you can't get all the leg room you want. You can't have legs wrapped around your head. Well, let me think. No, you can't really get the legs wrapped around your head and whatnot. Can't do any crazy Kama Sutra positions, but you guys had a great time. Little on edge in case a police car drives by, maybe you guys get arrested for indecent exposure and lewd sexual acts. But what can you do? It was a good time, could have been a great time in the privacy of your own home, but it was good nonetheless. And that's really what I have to say about this disc right here. Overall, this disc is a fairly bright disc anyway. It's not a dark 4K release like some of the others. It's fairly bright, and colors do pop. You're seeing nuances in the flesh tones and different gradients on the kids' hair. It feels a bit weird that I'm talking about the kids like this in this movie, but I'm doing a transfer review, okay? You know, one of the kids wearing a white t-shirt, little dirty. You're noticing a lot more on this. There's clearly a wider color palette at work here. Establishing shots, although I did say they are blurry, they are very bright indeed. The rays of the sun really do squeeze and shimmy past the leaves of the trees. Don't get it twisted, it's definitely a vibrant movie. They're very natural looking colors, just a wider color palette to play around with. They're not oversaturated, it's a very natural look. But you will appreciate the colors. It's bright where it needs to be, and it's dark where it needs to be. You tell your girl to sit on the woofer, see what happens. You know what's gonna happen? She's gonna sit on the woofer, and she's gonna get teased for most of the time, because this isn't a movie that's really designed for Atmos. You can hear the ambiance when they're in the forest, when they're on the train tracks. When it gets dark, they're walking across the mud. You hear the scrunching of the leaves and the squishing of the mud as they're walking on. You hear it in bits and pieces all around you. You hear birds chirping. There are some overhead shots. There is some nice atmosphere here, but it's subtle at best. The booty and the coochie gonna get teased. But if all else fails, people, just stick the soundtrack on that bitch. As soon as the that's it, the coochie is gonna be smiling. It's gonna be like a smiling emoji in this bitch. It's a good disc, it's got good Atmos, but it's not an Atmos movie. It looks great for a 1986 movie, and it's by far the version to have. It beats the 1080p hands down. Should you pick it up if you're a fan of the movie, it's a no-brainer. So I'm gonna give this, an 8. The Atmos is very good too. I don't want to give the Atmos a rating because it's not that kind of movie. If I give it a 6, it means the Atmos is bad. It's not. It's good for what it is, but there's nothing here which really takes that much advantage of it, in my opinion. But this is the one to get if you love this movie, 100%. It's the 4K Rockstar, baby. Catch you next time.